Alright, when I looked at a picture of this, it had this one roof. Let's see what, right here. This is called corrugated metal. Okay. And it comes in sheets that are like 8 by 10. And they're used over and over again. Now with that idea, I really kind of like building upon that same concept. If it's a building material that comes in a certain size, and it's repeated over and over again, in real life I kind of mimic the same type of thing. So in this case, it would take probably 2 sheets down to really kind of patch up this roof. Alright, to do that, I'm just going to grab some faces here, duplicate them, pull that up, off click, then I'll grab its edge, and I'll work out how long I want this piece. Now again, here's the center of the building, so I could make something like that. What is making that happen? Ha. I will gimp along until I get this series done. So there we go. Modify center pivot. In this case I like this, and I'm going to just add some thickness to it. But first I'm going to get rid of these edges. Okay. Now I could add geometry to this, but I think I'm going to wait till the texture stage to do that, and then I'll add the waves in conjunction with the texture. That way it'll give the texture depth. So for right now it's just going to be a big plane, and then later on I'll add the detail. I just need to know what angle this is going to be at. 30-degree pitch, give or take. Nobody's going to measure, so going to go like that. And I want an overhang also. So I won't ruin this this rotate, because I can always rotate this flat again. Just a little bit more on the scale side. There we go. I like that. And I'm just going to test that out by duplicating it over to the other side and putting a negative scale in. Let's see, Z? Yeah. So this one I can ruin it. I'll just say freeze transformations. And then in Z, I put a -1 here. There we go. Now I can test out to see how that's going to look as far as pitch is concerned. Not too bad. It would hang over this much, and I would have to have a transition piece in here. But I'm really happy with that mesh. And I think I'll have to have some kind of thing at the top, a ridge cap, in order to cover up this. Okay, so I'm just going to duplicate this across to get the idea. And see how many I overlap on it. Okay, again, I would be doing the same thing in the game engine. I would just be taking these and I would take them all at the same time and scale them. And the only way to do that is either combining or grouping them together. So I'm going to group it at this case just to test out what a good size is, what a good ratio is. Right about there. Yes, that looks nice. Nice ratio. Okay, what about this piece? How would I get that? Well, I could take this face and duplicate it. Remember, this is the piece right here that still has the rotate on it. Oh, or is it on the other side? Yeah, it's this one. So this is the one I want to pick on. So in this case, I would just duplicate it, zero out the rotation, make it thinner, take this edge and drag it up to meet a pitch. And drag all these vertices down to suit that pitch. Oops, no, not that one. So I would drag them in. There we go. Nice, that looks good. Shift D that, put a negative in the Z. And then move it into position and then duplicate it to the other side. There we go. Now I just need some molding for the very top. A good transition piece that I can use over and over for attaching roofs. Or I can move all this down. That's not too bad either. But I always kind of run into that problem with not having a mesh long enough that has enough textural detail to fill in gaps like that. So I might make one by hand. I might just steal this face right here. Or this face right here. Let's steal this face. So duplicate face, pull that off. In some cases, this is going to do this as a negative value here because I did a negative scale in this region. So I'm going to have to pull it back out, edit, delete by type history. I'll extrude that. And you can see everything's just backwards on that mesh. I'll just have to check the normals on it before I actually use it. Center pivot, and I'm just going to make something like this that I can use over and over for molding. And I'll make it about this wide, because if I make it any thinner, the textural detail won't be there. And I'll decide what that's going to look like here once I have them all. Okay, so scale that in, move that down, and that's what I want right there, some kind of trim piece. Okay. Okay, you duplicate that to the other side. And now in the next video, we'll work on rafters on the inside and maybe a chimney. But then we're going to have to tear all this apart and get out the meshes that we're going to use to build this building, because we're not going to use all these, we're just going to use some of them. Alright, so see you in the next video where we work on maybe the details on the inside as far as the rafters are concerned.